Welcome to Beyond the Nebula, where humanity doesn't just survive, we rewrite the stars. These original HFY stories explore what happens when humans show the galaxy what we're truly made of. The battlefield was a symphony of noise, metal grinding, engines roaring, and explosions tearing the sky apart. Amidst the chaos, a battered mech lumbered forward. Its armor was a patchwork of scavenged scrap, rusted plates bolted onto a skeleton of steel beams, flickering cables hanging loose like scars. Inside the cockpit sat Jax Mallory, a human who thrived on chaos. Where sleek starships relied on precision and firepower, Jax's mech was a wrecking ball, unpredictable, relentless, and fueled by raw instinct. The galaxy's finest mercenaries sneered at the rustbucket he piloted. They called him reckless. They called him outdated. But they didn't know what it meant to fight like a human. Jax's comm crackled. "You ready for this, Mallory?" His co-pilot, Rin, replied calmly, "As ready as I'll ever be. Let's give them hell." Ahead, the mercenary Queen's forces had taken position on the jagged cliffs of Vexis Prime. They thought their superior firepower would crush any resistance. They underestimated the nightmare waiting in the shadows. Jax tightened his grip. "Rust and thunder, Rin. Let's show them what that means." The mech's joints creaked as it charged forward, scraping against rock and debris. Enemy turrets locked onto him, firing concentrated plasma blasts. Jax maneuvered with a wild grace, dodging and weaving like a storm. He slammed into the nearest turret, crushing it underfoot. Explosions bloomed around him, but Jax was a storm no one could predict. His mech's arms swung heavy, wrecking hammers and saw blades, tearing through enemy armor and steel. The mercenary Queen watched from her command ship, eyes narrowing. "This human is insane," she muttered. "Send the Vipers." From the cliffs, sleek, fast mechs surged forward. Jax roared in defiance, engaging them in brutal close combat. Metal clashed against metal. Sparks flew. Rin shouted, "We're outnumbered!" Jax grinned. "Good. Means more to smash." He fought like fury incarnate, every strike fueled by years of hardship and a refusal to be erased. The Vipers struck coordinated blows, trying to trap him in a pincer. But Jax's instincts were honed from surviving on death worlds and scrapyards. He twisted, slashed, and used the terrain to his advantage. A vicious uppercut sent one Viper crashing into a cliffside. Another was caught in a spinning saw trap. The battlefield became a graveyard of metal carcasses. The mercenary Queen's voice rang out again. "Deploy the Titan." A colossal mech emerged, towering and armed with weapons that dwarfed Jax's rustbucket. The Titan advanced with thunderous steps. Jax felt a pulse of fear, but only a pulse. He steadied his breath. "Let's dance," he whispered. The Titan loomed like a god of war, 3 times the height of his patchwork mech, bristling with autocannons, arm-mounted railguns, and rotating missile pods. Its plating gleamed with polished chrome, unmarred by combat, untouched, unbroken. But Jax didn't care about polish. He cared about pain. The Titan's chest opened and belched out a barrage of micromissiles. Warning klaxons shrieked inside his cockpit. "Rin, brace!" The world turned white. Jax threw the mech into a full-body dive, landing with a thunderous crash behind a jagged ridge. Explosions rocked the sky, shattering stone, searing through what little shielding he had left. Debris slammed into the cockpit. Sparks flew. The console lit up red. Rin's voice cut through the chaos. "Shields at 4%. We're bleeding." "Good," Jax growled. "Let 'em think we're dying." The Titan stepped forward, seismic footfalls cracking the ground. With one sweep of its left arm, it melted 3 of its own retreating drones in friendly fire. It didn't care. It wanted Jax. "You think you're something?" The mercenary Queen's voice blared through the Titan's external speaker. "This is the pinnacle of war, and you crawl inside garbage like a rat." Jax grinned. "Ever see what a rat does cornered?" He popped smoke canisters and flung flares. Thermal, optical, and magnetic jammers flooded the field. A storm of interference. The Titan's targeting locked up. "Now!" Jax kicked into overdrive. The mech surged from behind the ridge like a wounded beast. Propellant boosters fired from the back, giving him a brutal burst of speed. He charged in a zigzag, dodging autocannon bursts that cratered the battlefield behind him. He drew his primary weapon, a repurposed industrial wrecking arm converted into a piledriver, and slammed it into the Titan's left shin. Metal buckled. Sparks erupted. The Titan staggered, recalibrating. Its railgun swiveled down. Jax leapt, propelling the mech up with leg boosters. Mid-air, he slammed a chainsaw blade through the Titan's shoulder mount. Steel shrieked. The railgun detonated. Flames and shrapnel engulfed them both. Jax hit the ground hard, tumbling end over end. The mech's right leg bent wrong. A red fracture warning screamed across his HUD. "Leg actuator's gone," Rin shouted. "You broke it again." "We don't need legs if we've got rage," Jax snapped. The Titan reeled, its left arm hanging limp, oil spraying from ruptured coolant lines. But its missile pods still spun, a full volley locked and loaded. "Down!" Rin shouted. Too late. Dozens of warheads launched in a wave, streaking toward them like a mechanical plague. Jax's hand slammed a lever. "EMP now!" He triggered a close-range electromagnetic pulse, frying everything in a 20-meter radius. Half the missiles dropped like dead birds, slamming into the dirt harmlessly. The other half kept coming. He twisted the mech behind an old downed cargo hauler just as the volley struck. The hauler exploded, acting as a makeshift shield. Heat rolled through the cockpit. Blood trickled from Jax's nose. Rin gritted her teeth. Hull integrity's down to 30%. Jax spat into his glove, still standing. The Titan's chest began to glow, overcharge mode. "She's cooking her fusion core," Rin warned. "She's going to turn it into a mobile bomb." Jax saw the blast radius estimate on his HUD. It would vaporize a quarter of the canyon. No escape, no cover, unless he hit manual override. "What are you doing?" Rin yelled. Jax didn't answer. He detached both arms of the mech, useless now, and rerouted the last reserves to his core shield and boosters. The mech surged forward, one-legged, smoking, burning, a bullet of rust and fury. The Titan tried to aim. Jax smashed into its chest. His mech drove it back, step by thunderous step, toward the canyon's edge. "You're insane!" the Queen shouted through the Titan. Jax didn't respond. He jammed a stolen Krenax power cell into the open reactor vent. It began to pulse. He let go, fired reverse thrust. The Titan exploded mid-fall, a blinding storm of plasma and shrapnel. The canyon swallowed it whole. The shockwave launched Jax's mech backwards, tumbling like a meteor across the dirt. The cockpit cracked. The screens went dark. Silence. Rin's voice came through, raspy. "Still alive?" Jax coughed, laughing between breaths. "You call that a Titan?" All around them, the enemy forces began to retreat. The mercenary Queen's command vessel broke formation and warped out, leaving the wreckage behind. Rust and thunder had won. Jax popped the cockpit. The wind hit his face, carrying the stench of metal and victory. He stood silhouetted against the smoking remains of the battlefield, broken mech behind him. They'd send more. They always did. But today, the galaxy learned the truth. You don't need chrome. You don't need elegance. You just need grit, rage, and a little rust. If you enjoyed this story, leave a like and comment. It helps us reach more sci-fi fans like you. And if you love tales where humans shake the galaxy, subscribe to Beyond the Nebula for weekly uploads. Original story by Beyond the Nebula, AI-assisted, human-created. Narrated by Beyond the Nebula. New episodes every week.